Hey there, I'm excited to be here with Jarrod Hoffman, one of the therapists here at Cardia Collective, where we exist to help people live with courage, hope, and freedom. Jarrod is going to be launching a process group for adolescent boys, and I wanted to give Jarrod an opportunity to tell you about this opportunity that's going to be starting on August 21st from 4 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. here at the Cardia offices. So, Jarrod, what'd I do?
4:30 to 5:30.
4:30 to 5:30. Sorry, I gave him an extra 3 minutes. So tell us about the group. What prompted you to want to do this, and what does it entail?
I've always thought of myself a little bit as a middle schooler. And so I have, as I've grown up, continued to work with middle school students in a variety of capacities. And I really appreciate their honesty and really love that they don't hold anything back or hide anything as easily from you. And me personally, when I was in middle school, I really could have used someone to talk to just in my family circumstances. And would really love to just be that person for some of these guys.
Mm-hmm. And what's in particular that age from like 12 to 14, kind of that middle school, what in particular makes that such a important, I guess, stage or where that need is so acute?
100%. I think there's a variety of circumstances that make a 12 to 14-year-old who's struggling in addition to just with some anxiety or depression or whatnot, it being a more difficult time. And that would just be like on a personal level, you are undergoing physical and mental changes as a result of puberty. On a relational level with your family, you're starting to try to discover who you are and not just who your family is. Add a school environment that's telling you something maybe different, and you have a perfect storm of just a lot of chaos, potentially.
Yep, I remember those years vividly, having pictures and images of experiences coming to mind. So what would it look like to be a part of the group? I mean, so getting 4 to 6 or middle school age boys in a room, what could they expect, or what could a parent expect that to look and feel and sound like?
Yeah. One of the things in my previous groups that has been really cool is to just see the camaraderie that a 4 to 6 person group can have, especially in middle school. A lot of times it's not me doing much work. It's them encouraging each other, challenging each other. And we'll meet in an office to start. And if the group expands a little bit, we might have a little more space. And it would just look like doing some activities together to get to know each other, then some level of education on what might be going on in their own world, in their own mind, especially related to anxiety and depression. And then it's a lot more laughs than you'd think, especially with that age group.
Yeah, I bet. And in light of, I know I hate to even use the word COVID and even go back to or reference some of those experiences, but in light of those experiences and how disruptive that was to some of these kids, are you seeing some impact, lingering impact, or delayed impact from all that within? And do you see this as a way to help kind of care for them in the midst of some of that?
Every one of the kids that I've worked with in the past year has, when they tell me sort of how they got into the room, they're going to tell their story of COVID just like an adult.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was during a super formative time for them. If you're in 6th grade, that would have been happening while you were in 3rd grade, and you got taken out of school and your circles and your support system. So I think definitely on like a social level, some of these kids are still working through what that looks like to interact with other people. And then, I think just some of the anxiety and maybe some of the habits that were formed as a result of being out of school is gonna linger, just like we're still talking about it 3 years later. So.
Right. So as a father myself of teenagers, imagining approaching one of them about putting them in a group or inviting them to join a group like this, how would you coach us as parents to kind of have that conversation with our kids? Because I'm a believer in it. I've seen the power of it, the value of it, but now inviting them into that is another another barrier potentially.
The first thing that comes to mind would be, I think the group is actually a great step into a counseling experience, even though there might be some of that social anxiety. They don't have to just be one-on-one with a stranger. There's going to be people their age that they can connect with. Immediately at the start of the group, people, they're just saying to themselves like, oh, I'm not alone. And so I think the group is a great option to give to someone, especially who might be nervous about the one-on-one. And so I think presenting that as a, you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to be alone. And these kids are experiencing the exact same things as you. It's just a good setup for a kid who might be hesitant otherwise.
Yeah. And I've seen, in my case, my son in another setting led a facilitated group. And there may be resistance initially, but then once you're in that room, there is this sense of relief. Part of it maybe just being a safe space outside of the normal pressures and then all the technological demands, and there being that sense of, oh my goodness, like, and maybe they can't put it into words, but I'm not alone. And I think I can speak for you in terms of a younger professional, somebody that can identify with them, but has navigated that road to maturity, and that they're able to look up to and feel a connection with, because I think you're gifted in connecting with that age group based on all of your experience. And talk a little bit about your experience too, kind of your history before you became a counselor.
Before attending my master's at University of Memphis, I did several years of youth ministry. So playing Monopoly, playing games. I thought that counseling might be different, but we do also play games, which is great.
Play is good.
Yes. And so I have experience from, 6th grade to 12th grade. And then when I had been in the internship, the practicum phase of my master's, I also worked with prisoners on probation. And I kind of used that as an example of like, you're working potentially with a 6th grader who does not want to be in the room. And that was similar in some of those, with some of those clients who didn't really want to be in that room. And so there really are some just similarities of stages of change and group dynamics in those two capacities. So yeah, came back to the adolescent world because I love their vulnerability, their honesty, and just the energy that they bring.
Yeah, I think that opportunity for them to connect with others and to put some language and it to be okay to put some language with what they might be experiencing or feeling that they're just not, at least in my experience, may not be expressing at home. So to have an ally or somebody supporting us in that journey that aligns. So I would just encourage you, are you, as an intermediate step, if somebody was interested and wanted to talk to you about putting their child in this group, can they reach out to you directly, have a conversation with you about that?
Yeah, just reach out via email or the number that's on the Cardia website, and love to sit down and even just see where I can give you resources or point you in the right direction.
Very good. Well, excited about this. August 21st is the start date. It's going to be an open group, so people can join the group even after it started, not limited to that start date. 4:30 to 5:30 on Mondays. And so cardiacollective.com, you can go to the groups page and reach out to Jarrod. And if you have questions and want to learn more about that, but really can't encourage you enough to at least offer this space to your adolescent son to be able to benefit from that care and to really partner with you to help care for them well in a really volatile and challenging and important season for them. So, Jarrod, thanks for doing this. Thanks for taking the initiative, and really excited about seeing what it produces.
Appreciate it.